Abide with me, fast falls the eventide. The darkness deepens, Lord, with me abide. Abide. This is the deepest spiritual message you can have. It's everything in one. But we need to deal with the detail before we deal with this. Not dealing with this. This is very beautiful and relaxed, and this is worth a whole clip by itself, this message. I'm going to do one about my t-shirt one time. And by the way, I wasn't mocking that hymn. I love that hymn so much. It's an insult to that hymn for me to sing it, but I needed to with this lovely t-shirt. So my apologies for that. Now, to get to the main subject, which is fear. Who do you fear? What do you fear? You shouldn't fear anything, you know, but we all do. And we all have moments in the day when we have this feeling of fear in our stomach or something, especially at work, I think. I experience it quite a bit at work. And it's not a very strong fear, but it's like an underlying tension of needing to achieve, which is linked to our own survival. What we see is our survival. Because we think, oh, well, if I lose my job, I'm going to be on the streets or something. And that could happen, it could. But maybe it wouldn't be so extreme. And maybe you're not going to lose your job just over you not doing one simple little thing. So we need to banish fear from our lives. It's our number one enemy. And with the spiritual path, it's so important to get rid of fear, because fear and doubt are the opposite of faith. And we need to develop faith in the process if we're going to manifest what we want in our lives, if we're going to achieve our dreams. So I thought it's quite important to look at what fear really is and how we can reduce it and hopefully get rid of it completely eventually. So there's many things that fear is, and please write them there down below in the comments section and share them, because I'm sure we have many fears in common. But I came up with 3 when I was thinking about them recently, and the first one is the fear of moving forward, really, wanting to move back, almost as protection rather than moving forward. Number 2 is a common one, which is thinking of the worst case scenario and expecting it to happen. That's fear. And number 3 is expecting failure instead of success. And that can be on a really subtle level where you barely notice it, but it's just there in the background and it is affecting you. So we need to be really aware. Awareness is key to all of these spiritual processes. So it'll stop you from achieving your potential if you hold on to fear. To know that there is nothing to fear but fear itself, from the great Winston Churchill, is very important to contemplate and to meditate upon. He knew what he was talking about when he said that. And you could just think, oh, it's a very eloquent saying, but what does it really mean? What purpose does it have in my life? But he was getting a message across that fear will stop you from doing what you want to do. So we need to get rid of it as far as we are able, hopefully completely. Now, the world that we live in, our everyday reality, which is the world of the senses, is a world of shadows, of past thoughts and past feelings. If we believe that we are creating our own worlds through the imagination, either consciously or unconsciously, then we have to admit that everything that we experience in our world, we once thought of. we once imagined, and it came to pass because we imagined it. So even though we're in the present moment, we're actually dealing with the past a lot of the time. We're dealing with things that have appeared that we've previously thought of. But it's not just that exclusively, because we are imagining all the time, so we're actually bringing our future into being too. But a lot of what we're dealing with is the past. Now, what's that got to do with fear? Well, we often react to things that we've imagined in our world in a very intense way because we get hurt. People say things that we don't like, or we have to encounter difficult situations, and it provokes an emotional response. We have a very high emotional reactivity to certain situations. And so we're actually feeding things that we can't really do anything about. And we're giving these objective things energy from our feelings. If you see what I mean, they've already been brought into manifestation, and so they have their own life, they have their own way of seeing things. What we've imagined is going to come to pass. And so there isn't much we can actually do about that, except we respond to them and we use them to bring more positivity into our lives so that the new things that we're imagining are going to be better. That's what I think anyway. Now, we will get hurt. Feelings are going to come up. So we don't push them away. We meditate on those feelings and contemplate them, and we make them our friends. Because they are our friends. They're helping us to know who we are. And actually, if you bring them closer to you, you think, what is this that I'm feeling? Where does it come from? You really get to know who you are as a person. And the bad side of the feeling, it feels bad at the time. It's not necessarily bad, but the pain leaves you much quicker. It's ironically, it's when you're pushing these feelings away that they linger longer. But when you actually welcome them as friends, then they go quicker because the understanding's there. So I would recommend do that, and then give everyday reality a light touch. Don't feed it. Don't feed it with negativity. Focus on the imagination. You do have control through the imagination. You can create your world. Give your imagination the intensity, the intense focus, because that's what's going to bring things into the present moment for you. And it's going to make your life more peaceful, more productive, and just more enjoyable. It's fun, you're playing with it. So instead of fearing anything in objective reality, be a bit open-minded to it as well, because maybe you're imagining for something and something appears in your world which seems to be the opposite of what you'd really like. You don't want it, you definitely don't want it. But how do you know that that thing is not some kind of stepping stone which is going to actually take you to what you're imagining for, take you to your dream? You don't know. So I think you've got to have this open-minded attitude about everyday reality. Give it a light touch. Give it positivity, even when it seems to be giving you negativity, as far as you can. And don't push away feelings. Don't push away feelings at all. Bring awareness into feelings. Understand yourself. And then focus on the imagination. And go about enjoying your life. Because you've got a lot more freedom of mind than most people have. Most people don't believe like this, and they can feel trapped and believing that everything is on the outside, and there's no way of rising above their place in life. So many people who think like that. And it's sad, actually, because everybody has so many possibilities. It's just believing in yourself and using your imagination. That's what it comes down to. Yeah, I know. I mean, I said before in another video, when I say as a joke, but it's not really a joke, I just say, oh, when I'm a millionaire, I'm going to do that. Always bring it back to money, because people get that. It's kind of like, it just fits the situation. I don't go around saying it all the time and boring people with it, but it's interesting the different ways people react to that. Because some people just look at me like I'm crazy. Like, how the hell are you going to be a millionaire? Yeah, I've said before, a lot of people say, oh, are you entering the lottery? That comes up a lot, which show me that they believe that's the only way. And they're totally at the mercy of objective reality, the material world around them. And they believe that controls them, rather than the idea that you could imagine that. And now I feel compelled to fulfill that, to prove people wrong, but they still won't believe me if I manage to get that. If I manage to become a millionaire, they'll just think, but it was because of this and that, and you did this. Yes, but I imagined it first, so watch this space, I'm going to do it. Anyway, back to fear. I did write down some notes because I always forget what I'm going to say, but let's see. Fear is feeling you have no control, yes. Fear is fear of death, physical death, which is death to the ego. But it's not death to the spirit goes on. So actually, it's nothing to fear. We fear the suffering involved. We fear losing people, leaving people behind. But if we knew that life continued after that through the spirit, and it was more beautiful, if we had definite proof, yeah, there would probably be a bit of fear about how much pain am I going to go through. But I think the idea that you were going to this amazing place or this amazing state would override all of that. I think so. But unfortunately, well, maybe some people can have that. Anything's possible. But we can't depend upon having that. It's really through faith. But the spirit does go on. So we need to contemplate that one and try and not fear death too much. That's all I can say on that. Study, meditation and contemplation are the three keys that unlock spiritual knowledge, enabling you to live in the truth of life. I can't emphasize that enough. Study is so important because we've got these fading vegetable human memories and we think we know something, especially with spiritual truth. Like, it can really hit us hard and we'll be like, wow, I get it. And I'm going to do it all the time. I'm going to do it because I believe in this. And then only a few days later, we've forgotten again. And we know it on an intellectual level, but we're not using it. And that's partly to do with being brought up where we believe that it's just about the physical reality. That's what we're seeing around us, and it's really ingrained here, and we've got to change that. But it's also to do with how we're made, I believe. And for some reason, we have to keep on learning all the time. We can't trust ourselves to remember these things. We have to keep studying. And it's actually a great joy to study. It feeds the soul. The spiritual teachings really feed the soul. They give me more satisfaction than anything else in life. And when I'm away from them for a while and I come back, I just think, why did I leave this? So beautiful. It's like our body needs food. Our spirit needs that spiritual sustenance. So we need to contemplate the teachings that Neville Goddard put out there, that he got from Scripture. Contemplate Scripture, because there's great spiritual truth in that. And it really does feed the soul. Try it. And if it doesn't work for you, let me know, but it works for me anyway. This must remain a focus for the rest of your life. It's a long time. If you are to overcome fear and develop faith in the unseen, which is true spiritual riches. And, well, as I said, it's a great thing to do anyway, so why not for the rest of your life? Earthly riches cannot compare to this, but will follow with imagination and faith. So maybe some of you are thinking now, well, I want the money, I want the dream, I want the ideal person. But when you get them, if you do it all right, and they come into your life, it's still not going to compare to spiritual riches. You've got the power within you. And that's amazing, knowing that. Just really like, wow. It just puts it on another level. But I do believe that we need to experience getting these things to know that they're not as amazing as we thought that they were. Maybe not everyone does, because spiritual truth is so beautiful. You just know that there's never going to be anything bigger than that. I mean, it is love. Love is the highest thing. But I do think that we're meant to manifest things. We've got the creative power within us. So why not use it? Why not manifest money and experience what is it like to have money? To have a really good amount of money. As long as we're mature, we're emotionally mature and we're spiritually mature, we shouldn't get too attached to it. And if we do get attached, hopefully we've got the awareness and good sense to detach from it. Because it should be something that's a tool for us to achieve greater spiritual understanding and just greater spiritual development and help others. It shouldn't be something where we're just indulging in hedonism and, you know, maybe some people have to go through that first and then they realise this is so empty and then they come back. Hopefully they come back, but some people won't come back from that. So just bear that in mind. So that's it really. I hope you enjoyed it, and I really appreciate your comments. Anything you want to say about this, any experiences you've had. And let's all try and overcome fear together in 2020. That would be amazing. And develop faith, because that's the most important thing. If we want to manifest our dreams, we need to believe in ourselves, believe in them. So the next one I'm going to do is going to be about faith and how to get a good foundation in that so that you can believe in the process and make it happen. So I hope you like that. Thank you if you listened to the end. I guess you did if you're listening to this clip. And see you soon. Bye.